This meeting is being live streamed.
Thank you.
Yes, it is being live streamed. Andrew. All right. Here we go. Oh, man. There we go. All right. It's the Culture Smash cast, episode 594 for, wait, what is the date? I forgot the date.
It's the
April
9th.
9th.
March 9th.
Is
March.
It's March 9th.
Do we want to do a take two?
I'm going to do a take two. Yeah.
Oh, no, keep it.
Here we go. It's the Culture Smash cast, episode 594 for March the 9th, 2022. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of CultureSmash.tv. Nico?
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to CultureSmash.tv.
Tina?
Tina Qualls, contributor to CultureSmash.tv.
And Zach?
I'm Zach Martin. I see stuff.
Yeah, you see stuff. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this little promo piece because I'm going to mix a cocktail while we talk about where we've been the last few weeks. So special thanks to Skinny Mixes for supporting Culture Smash Cast. Skinny Mixes is coffee and dessert syrups that are 0 sugar, 0 calorie, and 0 to 2 carbs. Head on over to skinnymixes.com and try some of their syrups such as white chocolate, salted dark chocolate, salted caramel, and the variety of cocktail mixes they offer, including margarita and different fruit flavors. You can use promo code CultureSmash for 15% off your order, or as I'm doing right now, they have an incredible sale going. The white chocolate that we all really, really like is $3.99 a bottle right now.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I bought 4 bottles of it, and also this what I have right here that I'm going to break into, this spiced cranberry
Ooh.
infusion was also $4 because they consider cranberry a seasonal flavor. I consider it an anytime with vodka flavor.
Well, we will probably just stick to the coffee mixers because I poured most of our alcohol down the sink last night. So.
Oh, well, you guys have situations that I'm understanding probably why that was called for. You can always come over here and have cocktails.
Oh yeah, Charlie.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is having a shot of vodka. Then I'm going to have a little lemon juice.
You need that whole cup for the lemon juice? You need that whole cup?
Well, because I brought it, I didn't want to put it in the ice and have it sitting and waiting. Yeah. So, and then we're going to have a little ginger beer here, and then we're going to try this. Yeah, then we're going to hit it with this infusion. I'm excited.
You just pour like half the bottle in there.
Yeah, I didn't pour half the bottle, bitch.
Just go.
Just hit it with a splash. So what has everybody been doing? It's been a few weeks since we talked. Nico and Tina, what have you guys been doing?
We've mostly been here reading, going through books.
We got the boys into D&D.
Yeah, we started the boys in Dungeons
This
and Dragons.
is delicious, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, we started the boys in Dungeons and Dragons. We played them through their first game, so that was neat.
Prepping my niece for college. We're doing some campus tours.
I read a fascinating book called All of the Marvels by Douglas Wolk. This guy read just about every single Marvel comic book from the early 60s to where like the Marvel Age and the Fantastic Four and everything started to 2017. That's a lot of comics.
That is a lot of comics.
And he basically talks about what he's learned from like the evolution of the singular Marvel story. Like that, the self-contained, like everything in here takes place in the same universe. It is one cohesive narrative, mostly, kind of. And it's a fascinating read. I listened to the audiobook, but I'm gonna pick up the physical copy just because I really want that kind of coffee table book.
Is that on Audible?
Yes, it should be on Audible. I got it through my library, but it should be on Audible. It would be pretty easy Audible listen. It's like 11 hours. It's not that long.
Oh, wow.
It is.
I need to get this.
It is very fascinating. It gives some great insights into different chunks of the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was in Texas filming for a project that we were working on. Um, I hope this isn't like a foreshadowing for what this year holds, but I was filming with a very brilliant, amazing woman running for political office in Texas. She got primaried multiple times over by her own party, even though she was the right person for the job, and then she lost the primary. So, documentary over for now because she lost. It sucked, but we're gonna cut it into a film and have a short film from it, and people will still get to see how amazing she is and what she was trying to do in Texas. So that was crazy. I got sunstroke. I got sick, like literally almost passed out. Some of the footage is going to be really funny, but I already told Zach this, that when he looks at it, he's going to be asking me, why is so much of this footage shot in the shade? It's because I was dying. I was literally stumping with her. Yeah, and she hit like a bunch on election day, a bunch of polling locations. So yeah, it was nonstop from 9 o'clock in the morning till midnight, nonstop. One of the top 5 hardest shoots I've ever done. Nearly killed me.
What would you say is the hardest shoot?
The hardest shoot, arguably, probably something in Haiti, maybe. Or there were a few really particularly hard days during the Family of Fear project when we were shooting in that haunted house and it was 110 degrees. Yeah. Those were pretty hard days.
And then you get off at 2 a.m. and then be starving.
Yeah.
And try and
I would say
food.
probably those 3.
And then the McDonald's incident.
Yep.
That was probably the
hardest. So that's where I've been. What did you do last week, sir?
Well, I was filming.
That's true.
In spirit. But actually filming. I had duties at home.
Yep.
Which consisted of me sitting in my chair and watching a computer screen. And every time it updated, I'd hit a record button.
Yeah, so Zach was filming the election returns on the computer, so we would have that to cut to for the project.
Oh, that's
4 hours.
Yeah,
that's
good. All I did.
Yeah, it's going to be a good movie. It's going to be a good little short film project. But damn,
some of the State of the Union.
Yeah, I saw all the bits and pieces of that,
and that's. I came into it late because I was curious what the whole Russia situation was. Turns out I missed that.
Yeah.
So I got to hear.
You got to hear the COVID situation.
I get to hear the bullshit situation, which is the rest of it's just fluff.
Yeah.
Which it's always fluff, no matter what president. It's just fluff.
At least it was front loaded though, so if you watched it from beginning, you could just exit out.
Damn, I wish I did. Some people miss the first 20 minutes.
We saw movies, and we're gonna spend most of this episode talking about that. But before we do that,
I want to bring to attention, the boys found a really cool movie. I thought it was really cool. Called The Deep House.
I've heard that title.
It's basically these two people go. It's kind of like found footage. These two people go exploring this haunted house in like France, but it's underwater. Like the entire valley was flooded, and so the house is underwater. And
I really want to look more to the production of this movie. Like the movie is not great. It's okay.
It's your standard B flick horror doing a haunted house thing, but
most of the shooting is underwater.
That's hilarious.
All right, I'm gonna sell this movie that she's talking about to you.
I'm ready.
From the director of Inside.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
it's the same director?
It's the same director.
Oh shit, I'm watching it. Even if it's bad, I'm still gonna look at it.
Yeah, looking at the rest of his career,
not so good.
Not so good. But from the director of Inside.
Hey, always points for Inside. That's all right. All right. I was gonna say something about another movie. I forgot now. Oh, everyone's talking about this Fresh movie. Has anybody seen this yet? It's called Fresh.
I've not seen Fresh.
No.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard of this.
Oh yeah, it's.
I've seen this poster.
Yeah, it's what everybody's talking about. I haven't got to see it yet. I hear it's pretty good though. But let's talk about some other movies that may or may not be good.
Squizzy.
That's funny. I just had like the silent burp, but boy, I tasted it. Number 10 was Scream over the weekend. It made $575,000. Wait, is that right?
Yes.
$80 million so far. Okay. And then number 9 is new.
Come on. You can do it.
Come on.
Gone goodbye Katawadi. Katawadi.
You did better than probably
Goodbye,
actually.
Kathiawadi.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, it's new this week. $592,000 it's made opening weekend. Number 8 is Cyrano. That one made $678,000. It's made $2.5 million so far. Number 7 is Jackass Forever. $1.4 million. It's made $54 so far. Number 6 is Sing 2. Sing 2?
Dude, 11 weeks.
Damn. $1.6 million. It made another. It's still making over $1.5 million this many weeks later.
Yeah, we can't see movies.
Yep.
Yes, $153 million. Over halfway to $154 million. Number 5 is Death on the Nile. Made $2.7 million. It's made $37 million so far. Number 4 is Spider-Man No Way Home. Made another $4.5 million. It's made $786 million.
I would have not bet on that.
I would.
At $700 million?
What do you mean?
I was expecting $300 million total.
Total?
Total.
Oh, no.
I mean,
Not worldwide.
No. I expect more than that.
I was expecting around 300 domestic. Not 780.
I mean, maybe 780 is high domestic.
it is remarkable, like, given every other movie that has come out post-pandemic, even post-Spider-Man, it has not made anything close to these kind of pre-pandemic numbers. If Spider-Man looks like it had no impact, like there was no COVID impact on the numbers.
It doesn't look like there was a pandemic at all. Yeah. Number 3 was Dog. It made $6 million. It made $40 million so far. That's more money than I would have anticipated that movie to make. Number 2 is Uncharted. Yeah, take every penny. Uncharted made another $11 million. It's made $100 million so far. Opening new over the weekend is The Batman. It made $134 million for its opening weekend, which is pretty solid money for a 3-hour movie. I mean, damn. And this weekend, nothing. Opening new. Nothing. Yep. There are limited releases that are coming out this weekend, but nothing that's a wide release, which sucks. So what's the latest on them Filmball numbers?
All right. Well, sitting shiny in 5th place is Nathan with $10.7 million. Number 4, but not for long, is Zach with $18.8 million. Number 3.
I had Uncharted.
I have Uncharted.
Yeah,
I have Uncharted. You
made jokes about Uncharted.
You only have Moonfall and Batman.
Fuck!
Anyway, Nico's sitting in 3rd place with $36.2 million. In 2nd place is Steven with $136.9. And in the lead for 1 week, and 1 week only probably, is me with $144.1 million.
I'm coming to get
you. Look at you.
I'm coming to get you.
You came in.
But I still have Sonic.
Damn it. Still got Sonic.
I got Sonic.
My movies got fucked.
So we're going to see what happens with Batman.
Yeah, no.
You better hope.
No, both Steven and Zach got fucked when it comes to movies getting pushed. Because Steven, you only have The Lost City coming out.
What the hell happened?
The Black Phone got pushed to June 24th, and Operation Fortune got removed entirely.
Son of a bitch! I got fucked.
Dude, Disney fucked me.
God.
Shit.
That little mouse going, ha.
Well, I just gotta win the...
Nathan still has Fantastic Beasts and Morbius.
God.
I don't see Batman quite doing Spider-Man, but it's going to do really good. Like, Zach is not going to have last place in this film block. I can definitely tell you that
much.
No, that'll be Steven.
Probably will fucking be me. Oh, God. I didn't know the Black Phone got pushed.
Yep.
I'm so annoyed now. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm annoyed too because I got to watch those fucking trailers more.
Right?
They pulled them, but still.
Oh, they'll be back, baby. All right, let me pull the
Hopefully, they don't spoil the fucking movie.
Oh, they've already spoiled the movie.
Spoilers,
know
read
that.
the book.
Yeah, I've read the book.
All right. So I
didn't know it was
pulled
based on
up
a
the
book.
IMDb
Yeah, don't
for the Batman, just so I can have a look and see if there's anything I need to know.
Here, I'll pull up the Letterboxd.
Pull up the Letterboxd. All right. So the Batman. Zach and I went and saw it in IMAX.
Yeah.
We did not see it in IMAX, but we did see it in a big theater at least.
Here's a question for you, because I normally don't ask this, but due to the nature of this film, I think it's worth asking.
Yeah.
How was your projection?
It was fine. I had no problem seeing any of the visuals in the movie.
Yeah.
Because it was a dark ass movie, so it's just that's why we went IMAX, because we're like, I'm not even risking this.
Yeah.
There were
let's
no
just go.
instances where we're like, wait, what's happening? We can't see, aside from the one scene that it needed to be like that. Like they purposely.
Yeah, we like when.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just with this one, I'm like, I'm not even chancing it, because
This was like that one episode of Game of Thrones.
yeah, but
I was actually, that was what was going in my head. I was like, this is not the Battle of Winterfell episode of Game of Thrones. I was able to see what was going on in this one.
well, if you get the 4K Blu-ray, you can see what's going on in the Battle of Winterfell. But that's the thing is, you don't, unless you know your theater, you take a toss of the dice. That's why we're like,
I mean,
I'm going IMAX,
it was
man.
dark, but I didn't think it was.
No. I'm
It
saying,
was fine.
due to the nature of this film, I'm not saying the film is wrong. I'm saying you walk into the wrong theater, you might get a shitty projection.
I mean, I guess I don't remember us even talking about that being an issue.
Okay, when I went and saw Solo, it was an issue, and that's a dark ass movie.
So all I'm concerned with is I didn't have to look at any dead pixels.
That's also a good one.
Yes,
Yeah.
or hot spots.
All right, so how do we want to start this? How do we start this conversation? So the first thing I'm going to say is spoilers for the Batman.
Batman.
If you haven't seen it, come back after you see it, because
Come
we're
back
gonna
after
spoil
2
it.
hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I was told that this was a 3-hour movie. I was quite thankful that wasn't quite the case. What is it, like 10 minutes of credits at the end?
Yeah.
It feels like it.
Yeah, it is 2 hours and 47 minutes. I timed it. So we got 11 minutes of trailers, and the film was 2 hours and 47 minutes for a total of 3 hours and 1 minute.
It's a big deal that I made it through without having to pee.
I did not make that. I had to leave.
My bladder is like steel.
I had a good. Well, there's a good opportunity for me in the movie where it was a slow bit and it was like an hour into the movie, and I'm like, I kind of have to go now, and I know I've got like 2 hours left, so I'm gonna go now.
What point did you go?
Where
it's-
Selena Kyle's wearing the eye thing.
Yeah, when Batman is like giving her all this like spy gear to go undercover.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I like that scene, but whatever.
it's
I
a
like
pretty
the
good scene, but it's
the scene was fine, yeah, but I was also like in and out under a minute, so it
So let's start with kind of synopsizing the movie a little bit. And Nico, do you want to like try and give us a feel for what the movie is?
You know, it's a really weird Batman movie because I'm not sure it counts as a Batman movie because I didn't see Thomas or Martha Wayne die in this movie.
I mean,
It's
true.
Yeah, we didn't get
yeah.
to see them eat shit.
So the movie takes place a couple of years after Batman has been a thing. Like Bruce Wayne Batman has been existing in Gotham. This is not a Batman origin movie, first and foremost. It is still though very early in Batman's career. The city of Gotham is confronted with a serial killer going after high-profile political targets. Goes after the mayor and then some other people to basically tear down the lies of the Gotham corrupt elite. The serial killer being the Riddler, who leaves riddles at each of the sites and leaves a trail for Batman and the one good cop, not yet Commissioner Gordon, to kind of follow along and track that down. You also deal with Batman meeting Selena Kyle, meeting Catwoman, who this is really her origin story. You get her kind of backstory.
Is
in
it?
the criminal underworld? She
Kind
of more so as a known entity, I guess.
Okay, we'll get to there. We'll get
That's
to there.
fine. That's fine. But still, you basically get their introduction and insight of the criminal underworld of Gotham City and how it's intertwined with the politics of Gotham City. and it's also Batman kind of learning that he eventually kind of has to tweak how he goes about things, although that's kind of an in-game thing.
No, it's not. This is DC.
Oh, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah. The Doom.
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. It's Batman tracking down the Riddler who's killing off politicians and getting entwined with the criminal underworld of Gotham at a level that he, at this stage in his career, has not penetrated yet.
Penetrate. I've been hanging out too much with 13-year-olds.
Tina, you would have done that before then.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
Robert Pattinson plays Batman. You have
Zoe Kravitz
as Catwoman, Paul Dano as the Riddler, Jeffrey Wright as
Colin
Farrell's the
Farrell
Penguin.
as Penguin.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright is Gordon.
Andy Serkis is Alfred.
Alfred.
John Turturro is Falcone.
Andy Serkis. Yeah, that's the Turturro was the one I was trying to remember that name for Falcone. Yeah,
I did not know
Serkis
John Turturro was in it. That was a pleasant surprise.
He was a really good performance. I liked John Turturro very much. I liked everybody in the movie. I think did a really good job. I think Pattinson did a decent job with what he had. I think, as Batman, had the least to work with, but everybody else I think did a pretty entertaining performance.
So this is okay. So all the time leading up to this movie, Zach and I have kind of been on the hype train. We were liking the trailers. We were with it. Nico, you were the one who was like,
I was also very
Batman.
well,
skeptical.
yeah, but you've kind of been sketch on comic book movies in general. It seems like a little bit. Tina, am I right about that? Because it feels like
on DC,
So
definitely on DC.
yeah.
Definitely.
So you guys were coming from it. Actually, it was like the opposite of the way I would have expected it to be. So what did you guys think of the movie?
I really enjoyed it.
I have to say, one of the reasons I've always been skeptical, especially on DC movies, especially on Batman movies, is they hardly ever do Bruce Wayne / Batman. They hardly ever do Batman the way I like, which is he is the world's greatest detective. Show him being a detective. And this one showed him being a really great detective. So I was happy. I enjoyed the movie a lot. So
okay, so I know. Well, so this is what is interesting. Spoiler alert for our reviews. You guys really enjoyed the film a lot. Zach is kind of in the middle, and I'm on the bottom.
Yeah,
I think
it's good. It could have been great.
Part of it may have been my lowered expectations for the movie.
Yeah,
like, as we talked
that's
about,
fair.
But no, I went into it like Tina's point. Like we got Batman being a detective. Like this was the most Batman-y Batman, the Batman-esque Batman movie that we've really had in that kind of respect of him doing the work of being Batman. Once the movie like has that narration from Batman, it opens kind of with, it also bookends open and ends with narration from Batman, which is really his journal entries. But that felt comic booky. That's straight out of captions that would be in a comic book of Batman, of the protagonist's inner thoughts. I thought that worked really well. It was a good way to really get into the head of Batman in a way that we typically don't in these movies, because these movies don't have Batman being introspective at all. So I was hooked on that. I really loved the minimalist title scene, like just the Batman, no fanfare,
Also,
no music.
in IMAX, that title was big as fuck. I was like, holy shit. Oh my god, it's so
whole
big.
frame.
Like, I almost looked over at Zach and said, I can read that. So right away, Zach and I think we were on the same page with this. The first 30 minutes of that movie was the first 5 minutes of the movie, where you're talking about with the narration and the atmosphere building and all. I was like, shit, I'm sold, baby. Let's go. I was with it, and I stand by that first 30 minutes of that movie.
Oh, it's so good.
Banging.
You put your dick on that 30 minutes.
Yeah, you flip it out, because it had what you said, Batman kind of starting to be young Batman, like what we would want as a detective. It's not superhero action piece. It's him being the world's greatest detective, which is great. And Jeffrey Wright, that guy elevates anything he's in.
Yes.
He could do a Roger Corman movie, and you'd be like, shit, this ain't bad, because he's so good.
He's the best part of the last James Bond movie.
And he's the best part of the freaking the
Hunger Games,
the TV show, the HBO thing,
Westworld.
Yeah, he's the best freaking part of that show too. So I think he's brilliantly cast. I don't think he quite gets as much to do as what he would have got in the Christopher Nolan movies. I feel like he would have got more to do somehow. He's good though. I basically love all the casting.
Yeah. Full disclaimer here: everyone across the board is great.
Yeah. It's casted really well,
except for one scene, but we'll get there. But
yeah. Well, okay, great is a strong word. For me, everyone except one person is great. And then the one person that's not great for me, he's fine. He's fine.
Who's that?
It would be Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
When he's got the cowl on, he's fine. He's great.
Yes.
Yeah. But when he's got the cowl off, he sucks balls, just like I said he would. I don't like him as Bruce Wayne. I don't like him as Bruce Wayne at all.
Well, I think a lot of it is the fact that they purposely don't flesh out Bruce as a character. Like it's all Batman all the time. And that was one thing I kind of expected the end of the movie to kind of turn and solve that. But they didn't go in that direction, which honestly, the end of the movie, the beats that they were trying to hit with that, I could see why, because I didn't want it to be any longer than what it already was. But I get the feeling they're going to get more movies to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long-ass movie. It's long.
Too long.
And then there's a Bruce Wayne sequence in there. And I've been talking to Zach's ear off about this for the last week since we've seen the movie, because it bothered the shit out of me. We get 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, but at least solidly 5 minutes of him getting ready with them saying, oh, the accountants are coming and, you got to pay attention to your work. And then it goes nowhere. It's not even referenced again.
Yeah. It's like thread. Yeah.
It's like they were desperate to have a scene with Bruce Wayne because maybe in post they realized, oh shit, we didn't really put Bruce Wayne in this movie. We need a scene.
That makes actually a lot of sense for an explanation. And that would also, because I thought that too. I thought the movie was going to build towards, especially with the kind of the way Batman frames what he feels that he needs to be now going forward, not just this spirit of vengeance. It really felt like, oh, this is where it's going to do the turn and show Bruce Wayne doing an active participation in the betterment of Gotham. But then the movie, but it never does that. But the movie entirely feels like it's setting that up the whole way.
So I think we should, I don't want to get into the things that I didn't like right away. I'd really rather start with the positives. And that first 30 minutes of the movie, they do such a good job of world building.
Oh, Gotham feels very real.
I do that. Yeah. This is the best Gotham that we've gotten
Nico
ever.
And I were discussing this with the kids. It's like it has the best elements of the bright neon and all that stuff from, say, Tim Burton and Shoemaker's Run. But it also it's not near as bland as Christopher Nolan's.
Christopher Nolan goes out of his way.
You could just say it was Chicago, and I believe it.
Yeah, it was just Chicago.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it was Chicago for the first one. And I think it was Pittsburgh for 2 and 3.
But either
3
way,
was Pittsburgh, but 2 was Chicago.
Okay, so
either way, it's interchangeable with a city that we know of, like in this world. Whereas this one, it felt like I'm not going to go to Chicago and see this. I'm not going to go to Pittsburgh and see this. This is holy.
Yeah, it
Gotham.
felt like its own real city.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the biggest testament of this movie is how.
But you know what? I think that works because the movie, you can tell, was still. This wasn't I've been so worn out with so much green screen lately. When this movie is on location, it's like, thank you for going somewhere. So.
Even if there is CGI extensions,
it's extensions.
I mean, they weren't distracting, and they blended in very well.
Like, you can go to these locations where they shot, and you would see some landmarks and things that you'd be like, oh, that was in the movie. But they cleaned it up, tweaked it, and added things to make it uniquely Gotham, which is anytime you take the real and blend the CGI with it. I mean, we learned this from Jurassic Park. that's when it works, and that's what they kind of did in this movie, and I appreciated that.
I mean, there was one shot in this movie. It almost looks like a miniature.
Yeah, I felt that too.
The overhead shot of the one of the explosions. It felt like a miniature.
Yeah,
now,
it felt
whether
like they
or not
blew
it's
up a little
CG
building or
not,
something. Yeah,
But I if it is a miniature, I fully appreciate it because it feels real.
yeah. It had a personality, and like I love this idea that they set up in the beginning, where the criminals are going to do criminal shit. They're going to do their stuff, but they look at every shadow. Is this the day the Batman is in the fucking shadow and is going to get me? It's scary, and I love that. I was like, damn, this really does feel in like Seven or Zodiac or some shit like that. I loved it.
Raining constantly.
Yeah, I was so with this movie in the first 30 minutes, but even through mostly the first half.
Yeah.
I was right there. I was like, shit, it's so good. It's so good. The world building is so good. And then you look at Batman's costume and it kind of looks like shit, but it looks like shit in like the right way. Like you could tell it's a piece of evolution that's happening. Like he's still working on it. He's wearing regular combat boots and stuff like that.
The sound of those boots.
Yeah, with the spurs or whatever.
Like
the hell
whatever
it was.
clink it was going.
Yeah.
Loved it.
It was really good. I love the sound of him coming out of the darkness. The thonk, thonk. It really gave gravitas. The everything that was going on in the movie. And I really want to. One of the things I really want to get to is the Batmobile chase scene.
Yeah.
Was so
I'll
thrilling.
get into that. Let's go.
It was very dangerous for me driving home because I just wanted to do that. So much.
One of my biggest things watching the trailers was I absolutely hated the Batmobile, but watching it makes it makes a lot more sense, and I actually ended up really enjoying the Batmobile in this one, especially that scene where it's like that first scene where they show it, where it's
dark,
just revving the engines. I was like, okay,
it's
okay.
I visually it's not as striking. Visually, my favorite is still going to be the Burton Batmobile.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
This has the best Batmobile sequence of any of the movies so far.
Oh, disagree.
Really?
Disagree.
Okay.
So I feel like that sequence, that chase sequence, is it's so indicative of the entire movie because there's some beautiful shots.
Yeah, when it hits
in that sequence,
it hits.
Yeah, it slaps. But there's some times, like when he's going up the ramp, for example, where it feels like, oh shit, we don't have coverage here. Let's cut to first person. Let's cut back. And the geography of where the car actually is
muddy
for a couple of seconds is like, I'm like, where'd the car go? Where are we in this chase?
Especially that sequence where he hits the booster, you start to see him go up the ramp, cut to Penguin's point of view where there's this huge explosion. And for like 15 seconds, he was going up that ramp with the booster.
Forever.
And he's not there. All of a sudden he comes out of it. It's like, what the hell happened?
It literally, that sequence represents so much of the movie for me because like when the car comes through the fire, they took the time to use a real explosion and real fire. They didn't CGI it and it looked pretty. But the cutting around it, I was like, what is happening? I want to go back and look at the Matrix car chase scene and say, oh, here's how you do it, baby. You just shoot it.
Yeah, the beginning was fantastic, and then at the end, everybody was laughing.
Still, what other Batmobile chase scene? What other none of the other Batman movies have really good Batmobile chase scenes.
I mean, except for that scene in the Dark Knight.
I was gonna say the scene in the Dark Knight is pretty banging.
Okay.
It's shot with IMAX, so
and it's also edited brilliantly.
Way better.
It's okay, fine. Editing would be better on that one.
Yeah, but did it end like this?
That was awful. That's hilarious. Okay. For our listeners at home who didn't see that shit, there's a scene in the film where Batman is badassly with flames behind him, walking up to Penguin, who's upside down in the car. Penguin is shitting his pants, and it's this cool shot, and it goes on way too fucking long.
It goes on and on and on.
For a minute. That scene is a minute. And Batman, has this upside down movement.
And that's when you start laughing. It's like, this is a goofy looking thing.
It's goofy as shit. It completely ruins the tone, even though the music's like, this is triumphant.
Yeah, and then it's funny. But unintentionally so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was kind of intentional. I thought it worked for me.
So if it was intentional, then that's a tonal issue for the movie. Because this movie is pretty humorless.
Except for like 2 or 3 times.
Except for like twice. Yeah, it feels dark and morose and humorless, and then it's like something goofy.
I mean, they almost killed off Alfred, and it's the first fucking movie.
That was not going to happen. But no, I think that there are those few peppered bits of humor to kind of balance, give a little bit.
I didn't feel it. Because you're right,
it's very oppressively dark for a lot of the movie. So
my preferred sequence over the car chase scene is the one that's actually in the trailer, the full version of it. When the entire scene is lit by nothing but the flares off the machine guns.
Yeah.
That
was all practical.
I like that scene.
That was amazing.
And I was going to say, I liked it. Like, I've since, because I got curious about it, looked it up and watched a whole video about how they were going to do that with CGI. And the stunt coordinator's like, dude, we can do this for real. Let me try it. And they actually did, in that sequence, is 3 different takes, 3 different shots, but they cut it between muzzle flashes, so you don't see the cuts. And it's beautiful. I'm like, shit, this is like beautiful. I loved it.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That was a good shot.
Yeah.
I mean, both shots.
And I don't know. I prefer that. And there's some sequences like that. It's like, I feel like he is kind of good with that, like, perspective of the character walking toward you kind of thing, because Zoe Kravitz walking through the nightclub with those things in her eyes or whatever, I liked those sequences. Beautiful colors, the whole thing was really pretty.
Should we talk about the Alfred sequence?
So we talked about editing. Yeah, let's talk about the Alfred sequence, because my God, what a mess.
Okay,
I hated that
Alfred sequence, when watching it, Alfred is about to open up a bomb. Batman is rushedly calling him. We have a shot of a rotary phone going off. And I guess Alfred's not, he was like, I'll get to it in a minute. And he realizes it's a bomb. He throws it, and it's this whole, oh shit, they're going to kill Alfred moment.
Mm-hmm.
Then Maid Lady, who we saw once earlier in the film. Answers the phone and goes, it happened an hour ago. We're sorry, Mr. Wayne.
That
scene is completely manipulative and only works once.
Also, it kind of, like, for that one, it kind of took me out, just because when she said
Alfred don't have a cell phone.
Well, that too, but it was like when this is probably just how my brain works, but when she says, we've been trying to reach you, my brain automatically finished the sentence with we're trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. And so I'm sitting there laughing and like I have my nephew looking over like, what is your problem? And I'm just sitting there trying not to laugh. So
that whole, like, you telling me, I understand we're in the early days of Batman's costume, but everybody's got a cell phone.
Everybody's got a cell phone.
He's not trying to call Alfred on his cell phone.
It's a rotary phone too.
Yeah, I don't mind being manipulated because that's what a movie is supposed to do. But when it's so blatant like that, it's like a plot convenience to put the cell phone in there. It's only in there for visual appeal and to try and manipulate me. And that would be okay if the entire movie was comic book tone. But this movie kind of,
it doesn't know what tone it wants to commit to.
The movie stays Zodiac 7 kind of grounded detective thing until it doesn't, and then it goes back. It's like what's convenient to my visual flair that I want
at times,
and not like a plot consistency. And I'm like,
at times it switches to video game logic.
It does,
and then it goes back to no. We're real world logic. No, actually, we're a comic book. Wait, no, real world. It's like, pick one, man.
Yeah,
I don't care, because you can make it work. Just you have to pick one. And that scene was, I'm sorry, you're going to rewatch the film and be like, this scene, there's no tension anymore. Because
on a second viewing, that scene is going to be annoying.
Yes, because it makes no fucking sense. Have his cell phone be going off a second, or, like, have it going off and he goes, I'll get that in a second. Let me open this up. And have it be for real, like Alfred fucked up. Instead of this manipulative, oh, sir, you're an hour late. Also, I'm on a fucking landline in 2022.
So Zach's been laughing at me because I feel like that scene and 2 or 3 other scenes in this movie remind me of times that we were filming. such as this past 48 hour.
Yeah.
When a camera dies and we lose footage, and we got to do some kind of weird editing bullshit to cover what we lost. There's 2 or 3 times in this movie I felt that. I'm like, I don't know that that's true, but it sure feels like it could be. It just feels like, let's edit this, let's cover it up, let's figure out a way to fix it. That's what it feels like. It didn't feel as precise as other parts of the movie. Nothing in the last 2 hours feels as consistent and precise as the first 30 minutes. That first 30 minutes, it feels like, ooh.
Like clockwork, like it's a well-oiled watch.
Yeah. So I love Zoe Kravitz. I don't want to be hating on this film.
I enjoyed her immensely.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. That scene where she puts on that suit.
Yep.
It was really special. It was magical.
It was magical, but also
I'm not even into that sort of things.
But hey,
it was magical.
On top of that, though, I feel that she steals just about every scene she's in.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the movie or who the scene is supposed to be about. When she's in the scene, it's about her. Now, that said, her character got fucked on character development. I often wasn't sure
what's her motivation,
what her motivation was, because there were times like we have this mysterious woman, Annika, who it appears, everybody's making a big deal about Catwoman being bisexual. I'm like, who cares?
Who cares?
I mean, she's kind of, it's fine. I'm down with that. But we don't get any development of why she cares about this particular girl so much. And then sometimes she doesn't care as much and cares more about money. And then sometimes she's back like playing the revenge, Death Wish kind of thing again. It's like so inconsistent.
And then they bring in that story tie of, oh, well, my mother was also killed and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It just feels like too much baggage.
Like too much, yeah.
They got to tie her into John Turturro's character at the end. And then on top of that, we have to assume why she's a badass and is able to just jump out of a building when she wants to. We don't know in this world why she has the stuff that she has and the ability that she has and all. Like, none of that makes any sense to me.
Yeah, it feels like the movie is, hey, you know who Catwoman is, therefore you're able to put your preconceived notion of this character and apply it to them.
I mean, we don't necessarily need full origin stories, but I like a little bit of something to
even just some dialogue to be like, the last foster care that I was in, she was a criminal and trained me in cat burglary or something. I don't know.
Something that's better than what we got, which is nothing.
We got nothing.
Yeah. She was pushed out of the window, and these cats licked her, and she came back to
exactly.
life.
I mean, that's that's how we got Michelle Pfeiffer.
I will say that leads me to my favorite scene of the movie. It's a very simple scene, but it's when Catwoman and Batman are riding the motorcycles through the graveyard. That scene to me was
the end.
Yes, to me that was beautiful. I loved that scene.
Okay. Oh, no. This is so funny that you bring that scene up.
Oh, no.
Because right after the movie, I said to Zach, I'm watching this scene, and I know for 100% fact, watching that scene, that they're going to have a split in the road, and one is going to drive left, and one is going to drive right.
Yeah.
And I was, but the problem is, I was expecting that to be this beautiful scene. They had the overhead footage. I thought, okay, we'll see one drive left and one drive right. But then there's a weird cut there. Like, it cuts weird, and all of a sudden we just kind of see it from Batman's perspective, but kind of not. And then the movie ends with this bizarre fucking shot of him looking
weird
down.
Angle. There's this weird angle.
Why? I'm like, why are you cutting your head at me, bro? Why are you doing that? I wanted that scene to be more pretty than it was. For some reason, I wish they
literal last shot or angle they had on Batman was just, it was the wrong angle, man.
It really was. It almost calls back to when he's looking in the car at the Penguin with that weird ass angle of him. I don't understand what happened there.
Yeah, I just like it when they're side by side on the motorcycles. That's mostly where I like it.
Well, and I also like the sentiment of the shot. I like what they're saying about the two characters with that sequence. But yeah, once they go under that arch and they cut to this weird angle and then it goes again to his face, I'm like, what's happening? Well, I mean,
We ran out of footage. We're gonna make it work.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. We got this.
Yeah,
a battery died. We got this. So let's see, because I'm trying to think. Like, I try not to not just flat out fucking hate on this movie, because I didn't hate it, but there's so many things. So
it's death by a thousand cuts.
When we're talking about the detective stuff, the first half is so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like watching Batman do his detective stuff, and Paul Dano's Riddler was great. I really enjoyed him as the Riddler.
I liked him as the Riddler.
I liked him as the Riddler. I hated his fucking suit.
Yeah, I wanted
get it, though.
some more.
I get
it, but I wanted more flourish, especially for a guy who we find out later in the movie is pretty caught up in Batman. Like, very much like, we're two peas in a pod. Like, that mask is you. I feel like if you had this fascination with Batman and the mask and all that stuff, I feel like you would have upped your game on your side of that equation, given you're not a billionaire. So
I was going to say, he doesn't have access to the resources.
But still, it's just like, I would have thought you, given this conversation you're having, would have put a little bit more flourish in your outfit. And
they didn't even give him. They did not even give him a question mark cane.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I
mean, all I gotta say.
Hey, he had a question mark cappuccino though.
He did.
Yeah. I mean,
I gotta say.
I don't need full on Jim Carrey.
All I gotta say is, bring out the GIMP.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I like the subtle detail of putting saran wrap in his hair so there'd be no
DNA.
hair.
Yeah.
It's like subtle shit like that.
That was a really good job.
Yeah. And I loved how they teased the people who know more about Batman's rogue gallery than just what's in the movies, with teasing about Tommy Elliott and Hush. And so Nico and I were turning, like, when he's wrapping dude's head in duct tape, Nico and I kind of give each other a look, and it's very Hush-esque in terms of look, and then the reporter's name being Edward Elliot, and I'm like, oh
yeah. When they brought up the fact that, like, this reporter in, like, Thomas and Martha Wayne's backstory that had dirt on them, their last name Elliot. There's, for anyone who's not familiar, there's a comic book villain for Batman called Hush. His name is Tommy Elliot.
My favorite Batman series. I loved Hush.
Yeah, he's essentially a childhood friend of Bruce Wayne, who Bruce never understood how immensely jealous he was.
Yeah.
And Tommy Elliott comes back and just wreaks havoc in his life. But
I mean, he literally ends up being the not doppelganger, but bookend.
He's the
to
evil
Bruce
world.
Wayne.
Yeah, he's the evil world Bruce
He's
Wayne.
the bizarro Batman.
He basically orchestrates his parents' death so that he can get the money. But when they mentioned that this reporter's name was Elliot, I thought they were going to just make the Riddler Tommy Elliot. They were going to make him Hush.
Yeah.
I still
that would
think they
have made me mad.
That would have pissed me off.
I think the way they went around who the Riddler is was fascinating. I really like that they worked around it being Edward Nigma, like Enigma, Riddler. That's the Riddler's name. It's Edward Nigma. It's a pun. But they just, like, we don't know who he is. He has, like, 2 different IDs with 2 different names. He's a guy. He's arrested.
I like that.
I think that worked well.
And one of the Batman games described the Riddler as a quote here. What is Eddie's problem? Fanatic narcissism, egocentrism, and megalomania crossed with severe obsessive compulsion.
That's a lot.
But that's the Riddler.
That is.
Yeah.
It's a shame that in the 4th act he completely becomes
we're
Joker.
going to get there, baby. We're going to get there. But we're talking about the detective aspects of the movie, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to get to the scene where I wanted to stand up and go, fuck you, movie, because I was really close. And it's because the movie does such a good job in the first half of the detecting part. It's when they find Edward Nigma's apartment and they find all the evidence, everything that they need. It's right there. Batman has to leave at one point.
Yeah.
But then he comes back to the apartment and every bit of fucking evidence is still sitting there, including the motherfucking Murder
Murder
weapon.
weapon. Yep.
I wanted to scream. I was so pissed. I'm like, okay, now we've just reverted to like video game logic, so that he
Yeah,
can,
because in video game logic, that'd be right in place.
because they would need to, so
Yeah.
that the game could continue. It makes sense. But in a
Yeah,
movie,
you know,
it's
'cause
like,
that-
no,
In real
not
life, that evidence totally wouldn't be in an evidence locker in the downtown precinct.
not at all.
And
You know,
crime
and they could
scene
have just
tape ducked off. You know.
well, and you know, they could have easily had Batman go to the evidence, break into the fucking police station and get into the evidence locker and look at the stuff. It would have kept the tone of the film, that sort of grounded, sort of superhero but realism kind of feel, like it's explainable. But this was I was so mad. I was so pissed off.
Can we both agree the film should have ended or gone a separate path? After Batman visits Riddler in the prison, you have your ending scene after that. Instead, the film goes on to the fourth act.
Well, but I want to know what Nico feels about that particular sequence. I don't know. Did that bother you?
I mean, I wasn't bothered at the time. You're right. Logically, yes, it all that stuff should have been carried away. I think the scene played well because it was giving opportunity to show more of Gotham PD starting to kind of come around to Batman, because you have this beat cop who has been kind of antagonistic to Batman throughout the movie and what times he's shown and kind of Gordon's entourage, and now he's kind of helping, and it shows like the healthier growth of the relationship that Batman is having with the authority in Gotham, how in the progress that kind of goes into the movie. It shows Batman evolving from being this loner vigilante character to someone who's more involved in Gotham, and I think that worked pretty well. That's
reasonable.
Yeah, I do think that like your criticisms are completely valid in that, and I do think Zach's point about how this movie does do a major tonal shift at this point, where you just basically realize, oh yeah, we need to have a Batman movie in with a super flourish action fight scene.
Don't.
Oh, we're gonna get there. But
I'm not saying you actually have to, but they definitely thought they had to.
Yeah, they do. But you know, there's
it,
another thing in that scene, though. The good thing in that scene is probably what makes me so mad is when that cop has to explain to Batman what the murder weapon is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of brilliant foreshadowing for the Batman at the end of the movie, because it says a lot about the sort of elitism that Batman, the life that he's lived as this like rich guy, he's not been connected with.
He would have never known what carpeting or manual
exactly.
labor tools are for.
Well, and that's I feel 100% that that's what that sequence was about, was to show one for him, you know, the mechanics of studying the doing the detective stuff, but also trying to set this up of Bruce Wayne having full realization of how disconnected he is from the regular people that he's supposed to be protecting in that city. And it makes me fucking pissed that it's centered on top of a sequence that makes no sense tonally. But I like what they did in the conversation that he had with that cop. Just like you said, I also think that's true too. I think it's showing a building kind of connection between the cops and him. It's just it's just so it's just so representative of this movie. There's so much great stuff there. It just needed a little bit more thought. Like I said that walking out of the movie, this script needed one more pass to clean that stuff up.
It's so close. But yeah. I mean, so we've been talking about like this movie is 4 acts. It is.
Yep.
And easily the 4th act is the worst part of
this movie should have ended with the death of Falcone.
Yes, that's what I'm saying is you have the death of Falcone, you catch the Riddler in jail, cut to the next day or whatnot.
Cut to Tina's favorite scene.
Yeah. And the problem is the film goes, well, we need some big spectacular to end, you know, this film. And I want to say to the film, you do realize your main villain in this film is the Riddler. You beat the Riddler not in a fisticuffs or a big triumphant moment, you know, like a big spectacular fashion. You beat the Riddler intellectually. Yeah. Because you beat him at his own game. That's how you beat the Riddler.
This last act of the movie is definitely comes across of there are some bits of the Nolan films that we have to maintain, because the last act of this movie is the last act of Batman Begins.
Yes,
agree.
It is that whole, like, Batman Begins has that train with the water evaporating machine going and wrecking so much of Gotham, and Batman has to fight that, but it still causes so much property damage. And this one's like, okay, we have to do that same thing, but more. Let's flood Gotham and completely ruin it. And then also, but ingratiate Batman into the city's graces.
I was about to say, I think this act, for me, I take it a little bit easier, because for me, we've seen throughout the film, Batman's a vigilante, and the city views him as a vigilante. Whereas this last scene, it starts to lay the foundations to where the city starts to view him as a hero type figure as well. So
I get
you
that.
can still
I
do
get that
that
thematic
without-
element. I get that.
I agree that this is absolutely a bullshit way to do that, but I see where they were
You
going.
can still
with this
have
scene.
that scene of Batman helping everybody, but you don't need to turn the Riddler into the Joker, because the Riddler has been very precise. He has been going after this person and this person and this person for these reasons.
Yeah,
and
haven't they shown up to that point that everybody he's gone after has been corrupt people?
Yeah. And
But
then
at the end, it's like, hey
it's
guys, get your
literally
rifles and
shooting
just
fish in
come
a
fucking
barrel.
kill everybody.
Yeah.
And also focused on the mayor, who is the only, seems to be the only politician in the city that's not corrupt.
Yeah.
And then he's going after her too. And like, to me, it just, like, it didn't make sense.
It doesn't fit
evolution
his
of
MO
character.
that they've established throughout the entire
you're
movie.
right. It does not fit this MO at all. I think it's I agree. It's frustrating. I think if you remove the plot bits of that, I think the action sequences work pretty well, but it's hard to make peace with that, because getting into those scenes is very difficult. And I guess maybe it was just also trying to do something of the pervasiveness of this kind of 4chan-y, like QAnon-esque almost Riddler persona that they're doing to try to. I wonder how much of this movie, like this was definitely a post-pandemic shoot. Like it had to be shut down for a little
during
bit.
the pandemic.
Yeah, it had to be shut down because Pattinson got COVID, so they had to stop that. I'm wondering, like, how much of that scene was shot after January 6th.
Yeah.
See, that because that's what I've been kind of feeling, is it felt like this film was 3 acts and they went, oh shit, we need something. It feels like a studio note.
Yeah,
we need
it feels like
a big
hey,
spectacular ending.
Hey, did you guys watch on the news when the Capitol was rioted? Let's put that in the movie. That's what that felt like.
Yeah, I could see that. And, Zach and I watched a different commentary on this where they were comparing it to, like, incels. And I see that, too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I have no issue with that. I mean, I think that's just a reflection of the era in which the movie was made. It just doesn't fit the rest of the movie.
No, I agree.
problem.
I think that is that could be definitely a fair interpretation of this Riddler, especially how internet cultured he is.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, so much of this movie doesn't really fit that kind of, like Tina said, like, so methodical about everything else, and then this one's like, let's just kill everyone. It doesn't really work out as well.
Real quick, think piece for that an object in that scene that actually one of my nephews pointed out while we were driving home is when Batman is injured and whatnot, he injects himself with this kind of like greenish serum.
Can I say I hate that scene?
I hate that.
I hate it.
Nephews pointed out if we thought maybe that was the same stuff that Bane uses, because at this point Batman's been fighting for 2 years.
Yeah, anyone who's mostly familiar with Bane from the Dark Knight Rises movie, traditionally in comics, he uses this muscle and kind of steroid enhancing material called Venom, which is often depicted as green. If you watch Batman and Robin, it's that kind of thing. So that's what I took that to be, is foreshadowing a way to integrate Bane into the movies.
Okay.
I am really curious. This Batman, there were slight hints of surrealism to him. The Burton movie, I mean, not the Burton, the Nolan movies don't have, but of course not to the extent of Burton or Schumacher yet. But there's enough there that I am really curious when there is this franchise of Batman going to start tackling more of the supernatural or super science-y bad guys. Like Burton was like Ra's al Ghul. Okay, well in comics he's essentially immortal. They don't really touch on that in the movies though. They just touch that he runs an underground assassin ring. Joker is just crazy, and then the Bane in this one is smart, methodical, and a good fighter, but doesn't have that
super science.
Super science strength. But are we gonna see Poison Ivy's, Clayface's, Mr. Freeze's?
It's a good question. I don't know. You really can't tell from this movie.
Yeah, but I really get the idea that they are definitely at least putting that scene was a building block for them to integrate Bane into this universe.
I will say that scene though, if you're someone coming from outside the comics, just coming to see a cool Batman movie.
Oh yeah, it makes no fucking
What the
sense.
shit was that?
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't mind him having a second wind. I have to get up and help thing he injects. I don't mind that.
I mean, maybe like what is it, like epinephrine or whatever?
Epinephrine, adrenaline. I don't care.
Adrenaline, yeah.
That's fine. You have to set it up though. He literally pulls it out of his ass.
Yeah.
It's a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, there's a couple of brown spots where you can see the poop.
I didn't mind that much, but
it's like as much as I know what it is, as much as the fan base knows what it is, you have to still set that up. You have to have that building block, because if you can't, your foundation for your house will crumble.
Yeah, I feel that too.
I didn't feel that as much just because, and this could be just because
it felt like such an asshole.
But it's just like Batman's got a utility belt full of stuff, tools for everything. So
really? What do we see him pull out of his fucking utility belt in this film?
So honestly, the thing is, if there weren't all these other niggling issues, that wouldn't be that big a deal. It really wouldn't. Because I would just assume it was adrenaline or something like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that other things bothered me, it's like... So, we were just talking about this before the show started, is I've been laughing to myself about the scene where he jumps down into that arena, into all the water.
Yeah.
Right? That scene, they do this beautiful shot of him jumping down in there. And then it's like he walks over and just sort of reaches down and helps a few people up some steps, almost, is what it looks like.
Well, he has to cut this electrical cable because it's going to electrocute everybody. Yeah. He cuts it, and then he's
like, hey, you need a hand?
Hey, guys.
You need a hand?
Oh, but wait, shoot in slow motion.
Oh, also, with that, the sequence where he opened up his cape into, like, the gliding squirrel thing that he does. Did anybody notice that when he walks up and they shoot this scene of him opening the cape, you never see a full screen shot of him opening that cape up?
No.
Like it goes to chest up. And I'm like, shit, that would have been cool to see. Instead, they show it chest up, and then he's just flying through the air, and he slams into the... That
was a shot that I really want to go back and watch, like, slow motion, because I wanted to figure out how that worked. Because you're right, I would have much preferred a full body shot, because I don't understand how his suit transformed into the glider.
Exactly.
I thought otherwise it was a really neat idea.
That, and I really like the fact that it wasn't a perfect fucking landing too.
Yeah, and I liked
it was a total greatest American hero landing.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was fantastic.
And that was great. Yeah, I agree.
I liked that it wasn't like the electrified, like, I actually have bat wings kind of thing. That is, as much as we say that Nolan liked to do a lot of realism, the Batman suit was not one of those.
It wasn't.
But yeah, it was really cool in that aspect. It was actually
at least they set it up and explained it, unlike pulling shit out of your ass.
But a glider suit is a real thing. It's logical that it could happen. But I want to know
that look is a real thing.
Yeah,
I've seen those. I've seen them. It's like, how did we miss the opportunity to have such an iconic second, like a moment of that whole bodysuit like coming out like that? It would have been so cool. Even if they had to do it with CG, it would have been cool, And I don't know why.
Well, I mean, and maybe they did do an earlier version with CG where it didn't where they couldn't pull it off, so maybe they had to zoom in on it. I did like in that shot though, like right before then when he got up to the roof, that he looked scared. Like he was about to jump off of a building, and this is a Batman that is new. Like he's been doing Batman-y stuff for a couple of years now, but he has not done this level of acrobats much. He's ready for it. He's got this jumpsuit, but this is still a thing that he has to prepare himself for.
I feel like the Riddler in this Batman is his first supervillain. I think up to that point he's just been fighting, street crime people. And you know what else? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Well, I think this would probably... I'll let you go ahead because I think this will segue to the person we find out at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, the other thing that I really, really appreciated in this movie was that Batman wasn't fucking saving the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with this epic ending that he had, he's still just fighting for his city. Even that's my problem with the Spider-Man movies is everything is saving the world, and that's not what he's supposed to be. It's not really what Batman's supposed to be either. And I was like, thank you for that. Thank you for just protecting the city. That's great.
And I mean, even for most of the movie, it's not like a city wrecking thing. It's like I'm chasing down the serial killer. It just doesn't. It's the last act that it turns into. I have to save the city now.
Yeah. So but no, you're leading into the final moment.
Yeah, the cameo appearance we get with the unnamed, very obvious Joker prisoner.
That looks like it has a fucking Halloween mask on.
Well, he has definitely like
the makeup.
Prosthetic nose. Hey, it's not Jared Leto. I gotta I'll take my silver linings anywhere I can get it. It's not Jared Leto, so I'm good with that. I was trying to figure out: are we implying that this Batman has already met this Joker, hence why he's in Arkham, or what? I'm not sure what that is. Because
it's interesting.
It feels
it felt like a scene they had. Oh well, we can have the Riddler meet the Joker in Arkham. What a great idea! It's like, do you realize what you're doing when you do that? You have just opened up a can of worms of questions that you don't have answers to.
I think they could still easily make it in the next movie, Batman's first meeting of the Joker.
I don't want Joker. I'm so tired of Joker.
You've been saying this, but my reply is always that you can't have Superman without Lex Luthor. Batman's got to have his arch nemesis too, and so he's going to be in this franchise somewhere.
I do think he will be in the franchise somewhere. I would like for them to hold off on movie 2 with Joker.
Yeah.
But I do think he'll be here. I would love it if it's Batman has already fought the Joker already once. It got to put it in Arkham, so we don't have to get into that whole introduction thing again. But it goes into like who works in this universe. Who is this going to be a comic booky? We can have super science and supernatural bad guys that Batman goes up against. Because it would be a fascinating.
The one I want to see, and I've been wanting to see it for like damn near 20 fucking years. Ever since, Uma Thurman played a craptastic Poison Ivy, is I want a Poison Ivy that you don't know if you should root for her or not. Yeah. Because that's one of my favorite things about Poison Ivy is she is an eco-terrorist, but she's not fucking wrong.
I think
her methods are just wrong, but she's
it would be really neat given this Batman is mostly kind of grounded. Like he is definitely a guy who takes a huge beating, but he is, all intents and purposes, not superhuman in the way he's portrayed, except in that he does not die as many times as he should have in this movie. Yeah, he takes a beating in this movie, which is pretty decent. But I mean, that's also like, if you give Batman a superpower, it's that he just keeps getting back up. That's Batman's superpower.
Side note,
and money.
Probably in the scheme of things, because we know that Matt Reeves went into this movie with the agreement that it would end up being a PG-13 movie. But when you see Batman beat the living shit out of a dude, and then they cut to dude and he's just a little puffy, it kind of takes away from the grounded feeling.
No. When you have a character put in a saw trap, who they describe as having their face chewed off by rats,
it's kind of bloodless.
And you don't, I'm sorry, we need to see the aftermath of that, or you need to feel the aftermath of that. Somebody gets their thumb cut off and there's not a goddamn drop of blood on their hand.
Yeah. I feel like you thumb drive. Those things, I understand.
I get it.
It just bothers me. It's like it takes away from the realism. Now, to what you
I definitely get. I was gonna say it definitely felt like he was pushing the envelope as much as he could to not to make the movie he wanted to still fit that PG-13.
I mean, that Saw scene is fucking scary.
They got their one F-bomb in the movie, and I think it was
in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was actually really happy with their F-bomb use.
Yep. It was a good use of their one allotted F-bomb.
So to your thinking on whether they can do the supernatural kind of magical characters, would that take away from the grounded approach that they're trying to do with this movie? I think it would, right?
I mean, yeah, it totally could, but I
want to see it
though.
Yeah, it kind of also goes back to the whole they haven't really committed to a tone.
Yeah, because there's enough surrealness in this movie that they could lean that way, but they also kept it fairly grounded. So I think they don't quite know where they want it to go yet, but they put enough in here they could go in many different directions that they could kind of make that decision after the fact. Like now, seeing what people kind of gravitate towards to do about it. That's pretty much it.
So I feel like the Joker, like little blurb at the end, I think it wouldn't have bothered me as much if it was in a post-credit scene. Like if it wasn't tacked directly to the movie somehow. Maybe it would have bothered me.
Make that your post-credit scene.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I just said.
Yeah, as opposed to the one we got.
Yeah.
Some people stayed to the end of the credits.
By the way, in case you haven't decoded that cipher, it's basically like to every end there is a beginning. It's not over. More will come, basically.
Oh, okay.
The Riddler will return.
Yeah, I didn't even look at it.
Yeah, well, it was flashing on the screen for I think 3 frames.
Well,
yeah, something like that.
It's like it flashes a website, then you have to go to that website and wait for like this whole
the
cinematic thing to happen, and then you got to click a link, and then it takes you to this thing that you have to somehow decipher. And
the Rada a lot of
that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, but I do have one question for everybody.
All right, what's that?
How did you feel about the Wayne Manor in this movie?
It felt like it was just in the center of town, like a building.
I can tell you, I fucking hated it, and I love Gothic architecture. You think this would be right up my fucking alley?
Did you think it was a little overdone?
Yeah, it's like, hello, I am Batman, but hi.
Well, what it really felt like, I
don't think I was affected either way by it.
I mean, to me, it didn't feel like Wayne Manor. It felt like just like Wayne Tower.
It felt like he was living in a fucking church downtown.
Well, it was a tower. It is not a. It's like Wayne Enterprises they have a penthouse in their office building or something.
It's like Walt Disney's apartment above the firehouse kind of deal.
Kind of, yeah.
It didn't.
But
it
definitely felt like
Wayne Manor.
But it definitely was portrayed as a very extra Gothic architecture, like very
it felt like a fucking church.
Yeah, which I guess
it felt like Bat in the Belfry. That's what it felt like.
It's weird because this is not Bruce Wayne's aesthetic. It's not like he decorated this. There's one point in the movie where where Bruce goes into a room that's been chained up. That is his parents' bedroom. Like it chain and padlock on the double door as they go into their bedroom. This is because he doesn't want anybody to go in, which is well dusted, which just makes me think that Alfred still goes in there and cleans. But but other than that, it
doesn't fit the architecture that's around the city.
I mean, the Waynes are rich, so they could just have whatever architecture they want,
they wanted
in their room. But it is a weird architecture for Thomas and Martha Wayne, who are ostensibly like
they're vampires. That's what I got from their aesthetic. Is they're fucking vampires.
Yeah, well, you know what it is. You know what it is I think it didn't connect. Didn't bother me because it feels like in a lot of ways it. Even though it's out of place, I agree it's out of place for where the location of Wayne Manor is now, but it feels like what you expect because of previous movies.
I think
you know
that's
what I mean?
The Burton nod.
Like, it is the Burton thing. But what we got to remember, and the reason it doesn't work now, is because his parents, would have been around in the 90s.
Yeah.
versus the Burton one. What was it, like the 40s or something, 30s or 40s or some shit like that?
Well, yeah, it kind of depends on like what era the Burton movies take place in. The Burton movies kind of do this interesting, like, is it contemporary modern day, so like 1989 at the time, or is it earlier? And this one kind of occasion. I mean, there are like smartphones in here too, but it does play around with. This is a weird anachronistic city at times.
Yeah.
We got into the rotary phone conversation, like that entirely there.
Well, and if you look on the outside of the building, you would assume it would be more Art Deco inside, or
you would to match the inside.
Which again,
but
again, the rest of the building could be that. It's just the Waynes were extra, Tina. They like their Gothic architecture.
I get why it bothers you.
I get it too.
100% the reason it didn't is because that is through my entire life of Batman's family. That architecture just seems like that's what you're supposed to expect.
Well, that architecture I would expect to find in a manor on the outskirts of town with an actual bat cave underneath.
The Waynes are
I agree.
Freaky shit. I do like the bat cave and all that stuff. Being
I love your level of passion about this. This is some nitpicking on a Zach scale right here, and I love it.
I did like the Batcave being underneath Wayne Tower. I thought like that location of it worked really well. It being essentially closed down subway station, I think was cool. I liked the Batcave, like all that stuff, like the Bat technology side. I thought was really cool.
I liked that it looked like it was still evolving.
Yeah, I liked it. It looked like it was evolving. That it wasn't super clean. Like the Nolan film. Like even when Nolan had the Bat Cave in Batman Begins, everything was still clean. But this one, the grunginess, I think, works really well in this movie. I think that's something else.
You know what? We almost didn't talk about this. We literally almost didn't talk about this. So
the Batliner?
We have seen. Now, the Batliner doesn't bother me. You know what the Batliner reminds me of? It reminds me of the old ninja thing where you do that to make your eyes more intimidating and scarier. That's what it reminds me of. Oh, yeah. It didn't bother me.
Well, on that note, real quick, too, it shows that it's an actual thing. Like, when every other Batman removes his mask, there was no Batliner. But Pattinson's like, this is an actually thing I have to do on my mask. This is a real thing.
Yeah, it's part of it. Yeah. So we have seen Robert Pattinson in the last number of years do good things, right? Good acting, right? We've seen him acting, well.
Oh, so are we talking about the hospital?
What I want to know is why Edward from fucking Twilight popped out in the fucking hospital.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was watching a deleted scene from one of the Twilight movies in that sequence. It was awful.
Yeah, the hospital was kind of weird.
It was flat out awful.
It was this repetitive scene because we know as an audience there is no answer unless you're Tim fucking Burton.
Yeah.
As to who killed his parents. We know that. So the fact that the film takes this 5-7 minutes to go, well, maybe it was Falcone, maybe it was somebody else, who knows? It's like, I get it, but this feels like just wasted time.
Well, it's because...
And then the acting in that scene by Pattinson is... I'm sorry, it's fucking Edward Cullen.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
I wanted him to glitter.
I will agree with the acting. I think them handling who killed the Waynes was really good. Because, well, it's not just Burton. Nolan answered it. It's just the guy who did it was mostly inconsequential.
Yeah.
But it's still that they answered who killed the Waynes. This movie goes, well, it could have been this gangster. It could have been this other gangster. Or
it could have just been an
Alfred goes like, I looked into it as much as I can. I cannot find any evidence of anybody who did it. So you could trouble, but it's like, yeah, I like
next movie. It turns out they're doing the full on Tim Burton, and it's going to be Joker who killed the parents.
Next movie, it's going to turn. Next movie is going to turn out that it was the Joker, but it's Joaquin Phoenix, and then the Joker that was in this movie is Joker Jr.
God, kill me.
Fucking
kill me. I will say there is room. There's breathing room in here.
I got everyone to be quiet for
one moment. It's devastating. But there is breathing room in this movie for the guy who did kill his parents. Like, I've seen people argue that the guy who killed his parents is in this movie. What?
Huh?
What?
Hello?
Hello? Did we just lose him? No, I see Nico moving.
Yeah, that's the YouTube feed.
Oh, did they freeze? I hear his chair.
Whoa, did the meeting close?
No, I still have it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Back to meeting.
Okay.
So anyway, now that they're not here.
Yeah, so now that, how wrong are they? They're so wrong.
I can't believe this.
It sucks that this happened now because I was really ready to just sort of get the ratings from people,
Yeah.
like to see what the scores were.
Speaking of score,
Yeah.
I thought the musical score by Michael Giacchino is good. Especially the Penguin theme, the Catwoman theme is great, Riddler theme is great. I just don't like the Batman theme.
I don't know. I just don't understand your hate. I think I get the...
It's so repetitive. It's
I get
two
the,
notes
oh,
and just over and over and over.
I get the fact that it's repetitive. So we're talking about the score. What you guys?
I was gonna say, I think Zoom did not like my idea.
I think they did it. Well, no one did. So anyway, to that sequence, what I was saying is there has been arguments I've seen online and reasonable ones that the guy who actually killed Bruce's parents could have even been in this movie. What is his last name? The guy, is it Chill?
Joe Chill is the one who, yeah.
Oh, you talking about like the people who are like in the church scene and stuff like that? Yeah.
So I don't know.
I did like the church scene, the memorial.
Yeah,
I liked it because it gave Bruce a chance to like do something heroic outside of being Batman.
Yeah, but he was pretty much being Batman in that scene though, just without the cowl.
Yeah,
there wasn't anything unique.
I think he was. I think he was scoping out future Robins though. Yeah, that poor kid.
I liked his car, like Bruce Wayne's personal car. Like everybody else in this movie drives like a contemporary modern day car, and here comes him in like a Corvette.
Yeah, and muscle cars.
And in his muscle car.
And old muscle cars,
and it's like, man, Batman, you got some taste.
And see, I like that too, but I feel like, and this is just a element of the movie, is we don't get enough of a personality from Bruce Wayne to be able to connect to that.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of like when you're talking about old muscle cars, when you watch episodes of Supernatural, you know why they're driving that old muscle car. There's personality, there's reason for it, there's reason that they listen to old hard rock that they listen to. These things matter, but we don't get any Bruce Wayne personality to connect with stuff like that. And
I think it also kind of helps to a little bit future-proof the movie to not make it look like a contemporary car. Like that's one of the things that the Burton movies work out really well, because the Batmobile does not look like a car, so it doesn't place it. And I will definitely say it's not like the Tumbler, the Nolan Batmobile looks like a contemporary car, but definitely looks like kind of a contemporary vehicle, if you know what I mean.
Like a military vehicle.
Yeah, all of those movies definitely look like of their era, as opposed to trying to stand apart in some way.
True. So we were discussing when we lost you guys the score. What do you guys think of the music in the film? I like the score. Zach doesn't like it. He thinks it's repetitive. No.
I like the score of the film. I like, the Catwoman theme. I like the Riddler theme a lot. I like the Penguin theme. I just don't like the main Batman theme because it's dun dun dun, and that's it. That's the whole theme. You just did it right there in 5 notes. And it doesn't iterate, it doesn't evolve. Vibes? It's just those notes over and over and over and over.
It feels like it builds up, and it's going to. Tina says to anybody else get Vader.
Dun 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 dun.
No, especially
that's more notes than this theme.
Especially with how much black and red is in this movie.
Yeah.
But
that theme even goes on to dun dun. But
no, I agree. It feels like. It feels like it's building up for a second part. Like it feels like it's almost building up to go into the Danny Elfman Burton theme, but doesn't.
So I mean, the Jaws theme, it does build. But for the most of the movie,
there are secondary themes.
For the biggest
built
part of the
into
movie,
that.
you hear the first riffs of that song, though.
It's meant to identify the shark, but there are secondary themes built into it to where it supports it.
I'm just telling you, though. I know.
It also changes notes. This is literally just the same.
I think you're nitpicking. I don't think it's that bad.
I understand.
I can play 3 better Batman themes right now.
I understand Zach's point. I generally do like it. I think it works really well. I think what they'll do.
I think it's all right.
I think they'll build into it a little bit more. Like for instance, I think the Avengers theme. So the Marvel Avengers movies.
Yeah, we were discussing that too earlier.
I think it got better later on. Like
I think it's a good starter theme. I think
it's definitely a good starter theme. Yes, it evolved
into
and I think this
in-game
one
where it has that really triumphant. I'm saying it started good, it got better. This is it sounds flat. I'm sorry. It's just like it feels like
I don't love
this
it,
is
but
the
I don't
baseline,
hate
but
it the
there's
way you
no
do.
treble, there's no guitar, it's just a bass. And it's like it doesn't change.
It's also
just the
funny.
same
I guess I
notes.
feel like it about the same way I feel about the Venom thing. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but there's so much bigger fish to fry in this movie.
It doesn't evolve. It doesn't iterate. It's just the same.
We've been going at this a pretty good while.
Don't get me wrong. The rest of the score is great. It's just
I need to go back
theme.
and listen to the rest of the score. I've gone back and listened to the main theme again because, like, as much as that dun 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 feels like there should be more. What is there? I think is good. It feels like it's starting something, and it doesn't feel like it's all the way there yet. But I haven't gone back and listened to Catwoman and Penguin themes. Oh, that is one thing we haven't talked about. Colin Farrell as Penguin.
He completely disappears into the.
If you didn't tell me it was him, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known.
There was one moment I'm like, okay, I can see Colin Farrell because I know that's Colin Farrell, but the rest of the time, he is completely hidden.
Yeah, no. When Nico and I were talking about his performance, our nephews didn't know who Colin Farrell was, so they looked him up, and they're like, "Wait, this skinny guy was the Penguin?"
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's called acting.
Well, it turns out they put that much work into him because he's getting a spinoff, right?
Yeah, and I'm
okay with that.
I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not excited for it, but I'll give it a go.
Excited.
So let's number score this thing. Nico, what is your rating on this movie?
I would give it an 8.
Tina?
7.5.
Oh? That? 6.5, baby. Could talk me down to a 6.
Yeah, I was 7.57, like in that range, and I've settled on a 7.
Yeah, it's solidly a 6.5 for me because there's just some really good stuff happening in this movie. It should have been, could have been so much better.
I still recommend it fully. Like if you're like, should I go see it? Like, yeah, it's good.
So I've been trying to.
It could have been great.
In my mind,
it's the best film I've seen this fucking year.
Not me. Second best. Belfast, best movie I've seen this year.
I've sat through fucking Belle, Drive My Car, Worst Person in the World. Shit.
I know. It's been a rough year so far. So I was trying to think about ranking the Batman movies. What do you think is the best? Because so many people are trying to say this is the best Batman movie.
Okay.
What do you think is the best Batman movie?
Dark Knight.
I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you on that one.
Dark Knight.
Disagreeing.
Okay.
Batman Returns.
That's a valid. I've heard a lot of people say that.
So I'm going to go ahead and agree with Tina on Batman Returns, and then I'm going to go. Then I'm going to go Batman Begins. Then I'm going to go with.
Ooh, careful.
The first Tim Burton Batman.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go with The Batman.
Ooh, that low.
And then I'm going to go with Dark Knight.
Okay.
And you know why? If you know me, you know why it's that low on the list.
Yeah.
Because it's not a fucking Batman movie. It's a Joker movie with a little bit of Batman dribbled in it.
Okay.
Now, if you ask me what's the best Joker movie, I'm going to tell you Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually I think I agree pretty much with your order, spot on. I think I actually might put this over Batman Begins. I might
I'm
swap
gonna
those
put-
places.
No, I gotta go lower in Batman Begins.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking I like that order, but I really do need to revisit the Nolan movies
Yeah,
to
I was
make
about to say, I'd
100%
have to
sure I'm there.
revisit the Nolan, but I would put this above Batman Begins just because of the detective work.
Yeah, it's like
I-
so here's the thing. And this kind of gets into like your qualification about Dark Knight not being a Batman movie is like
Mhm.
which one's your favorite Batman movie? Which one's your favorite Batman like performance in the movie? Like this is definitely one of my favorite Batman performances in the movie, just
Too early to
in terms
call.
of the detective work.
It's too early to call at this point.
In
I
terms
need
of the
a few
detective
more
work,
weeks.
okay. In terms of the detective work, but the problem is the reason I put Batman Begins over this one is consistency.
Mhm.
Like Batman Begins is a certain level of good and it stays that way till the closing credits, whereas this one is really fucking good and then it nosedives at the end. That's the only reason. I mean, I
Yeah.
think they're really, for me, they're really close to each other.
I think that's fair. I think the stuff that's really good in here carries it over the finish line for me in a way that Batman Begins.
Okay,
doesn't.
and that's reasonable. I get that.
Controversial opinion.
Yeah.
So obviously we have the top of the list.
Mhm.
But I would put Batman Forever over Batman 89.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Fucking excuse.
No.
That is
Yeah, I would.
You
fascinating.
just trying to trigger now.
Now,
You're just
No.
trying to end
hold on.
I want to listen. I want to know. I want to know why. Go.
there is a director's cut out.
Is it the nipples?
Oh,
You
no.
like the nipples?
None of this bullshit. It has to be the one that's on my Blu-ray.
Okay. And God, I'm about to lose some fucking credibility.
Yeah,
for this.
you are.
Yeah, you are.
My childhood
nipples.
was really, it was special, and I have a special place in my heart for both Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
You know,
Now, I am not saying they are good films.
well, they don't have to be good
No,
films.
They're
but
not.
for you to enjoy them.
But
when
I
you
enjoy
qualify those,
Forever way more than Batman 89 because Batman 89 gets fucking boring.
okay, I know how to
times.
fix this.
Rises is almost at the bottom.
I know how to fix this.
Rises is so
Yeah.
fucking dull.
I'm gonna fix this the same way that I fixed Zach's childhood love of House of a Thousand Corpses. And the way we did that is to watch it. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, it is."
What are you
kinda-
talking about? I rewatched these films like last year.
Mm,
I watched all of them.
there's no way.
Okay,
I am
enjoyable.
like it's
too
lucky
safe.
for you. We have to move on because I am judging you.
I popped on Batman and Robin for KJ because she had never seen it. She's like, "This movie is so fucking annoying."
Yeah, it
and
is.
it's loud. It's
Yeah.
just noise.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she hated every single line of dialogue.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I still love that movie. It is a gigantic piece
It's
of
awful.
shit.
Okay.
I
I
can
mean,
enjoy the
loving
shit out of
it,
it,
loving
though.
it doesn't bother me because we all have movies of a certain era that we love that are pieces of shit.
Yes.
But to say it's better,
I will say it's better than 89. It is. Yes.
I am judging you right now.
All right.
Luckily, we have something else that we judge people over to talk about, and that is
Star Wars.
the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer.
Well,
That's
before
nothing
we get into
but-
that, we do have a little bit of DC movie news if we want to hit that real quick.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
do because
so
that's
Variety
hilarious.
reported like just before we were going to go to recording that Warner Brothers has shuffled release dates for several of their movies, including their upcoming DC movies, pushing back Aquaman, The Flash, and Black Adam. Aquaman is now being pushed from both Aquaman and The Flash are being pushed to 2023. Aquaman was going to go in December. Now it's going to be March. Flash was going to be in November. Now it's going to be June. Black Adam is being pushed 3 months. It was going to be this summer. Now it's going to be October 2022. DC League of Super Pets, the animated movie, is now being pushed to July. The only thing that is actually moving up, though, fascinatingly, is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Was originally going to be in June, but now is going to be this December 22nd, or 2012.
That's
December 12th,
hilarious.
2022. There we go.
I think that might be the one we've seen the least footage from.
I think it's a family movie. I mean, I don't think it's a family.
Yeah.
It is, but of
It is,
them,
yeah.
it's definitely. But I think that's why. I think they thought they would play better with a family movie at Christmas.
Well, that makes perfect sense. I agree with that. But how funny is it now to watch that DC Universe trailer of everything they're
Which
doing?
plays before the Batman.
It does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was weird.
Isn't it funny that these announcements come out right after Disney makes their annual earnings report and releases a bunch of shit? I don't know.
But it's also weird. But when it comes out right after Batman cleans up at the box office for its first weekend, it's like
I don't
a
understand
huge
it.
gangbuster weekend, and then DC goes, we're pushing back most of our movies also. So
Unless it's DC looking at the rest of the slate going, oh shit, it's nothing here is nearly as good as Batman.
I mean, that could be it. It might be trying to space things out.
Yeah, maybe we need to work on this shit a little bit more. I
So,
don't know. It's weird.
I mean,
though.
the real question is, so Aquaman 2 comes out this year, right?
Electric Boogaloo.
Not anymore.
Nope.
No, okay.
Not anymore.
Which
Yeah.
is The Flash?
They both got pushed to 2023.
Yeah, Aquaman
Okay.
was going to be in
No.
December. Flash was going to be in November.
I thought one of these was moving to like.
Shazam is the one he said he got pushed up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one we're going
One
to
of
get
these is coming out, quote unquote, the same day as. Yeah, there it is. December 12th. It's now coming out the same day as Avatar 2.
now. Ooh,
Does that mean Avatar blinks and jumps again?
against Shazam? Hell no.
No.
Hell
Or
no.
does Shazam blink?
Shazam will blink again. There's no way Shazam and Avatar 2 will release on the same day. That sounds like a disaster because
I
it's
feel
two
like-
family films.
I feel like though that's the thing that's like what you said though, Steven, about like Shazam's the one we've seen the least of, and what have we seen from Avatar 2?
You've seen a couple behind the scenes photos.
Yeah, could
and
they be-
a
could-
production art still?
Yeah, with that in mind, could they be putting it there because they feel like, nah, it's not coming out?
I mean, it could be. It could be a put your balls on the table.
Yeah, maybe they don't believe it's actually coming out.
I mean, it's been pushed how many times?
So many times. I don't even know how many at this point.
I mean,
I feel like it's supposed to
Yeah.
come out every year and it gets pushed.
yes. It's the Duke
So-
Nukem Forever of films.
And we know how that ended up.
$5 I'll still never get back.
Exactly. I don't know. I just thought when you shared this story, it was really funny because just seeing that, DC's going to crush it in 2022. All of a sudden, never mind. I wonder if they'll pull that trailer now. That's funny. I wonder if they'll pull that from the
They
theater.
kind of have to now.
I mean, you would think they would, but Paramount says "fuck you" and just leaves the Top Gun trailer from 2020 still in theaters now.
I mean,
Same dates.
Our
still
Regal
in the
theater,
trailer.
our Regal theater that we fucking go to can't determine the difference between Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 and play Sonic the Hedgehog fucking 1 trailers. And they've done it more than once because my friend Chase went and saw
And people in the theater,
Jackass,
and
and they were still playing it.
and then people in the theater get excited for it.
Yes! It's fucking weird.
That's great. All right, I don't know what else to say about this except it's really funny to me. And I'm mildly disappointed only because I was mildly curious about Black Adam. I mean, it's really the only one I'm really curious about. Well, also maybe The Flash, only because, I kind of liked Ben Affleck as Batman. And if he's going to be in that, then,
And you
I
also
like to
have the
see
Michael
that.
Keaton Batman
Yeah.
also.
and I do like Michael Keaton as Batman. Michael
Yeah.
Keaton is going to be in other stuff coming up as Batman, though. We've seen
Yeah.
costume footage of him in Batgirl.
Yeah.
So he's going to be popping up pretty regularly, it sounds like.
I'm
So
looking
that's pretty
forward
cool.
to Batgirl because I'm looking forward to Brendan Fraser as Firefly.
That would be cool. And that's
My
another
interest
one
is
that's
building
like
in that.
Yeah.
a one that's an easy port over because it's not like supernatural and it's not super sciencey. He's just like an arsonist.
Yeah.
So that works out pretty well. And they are kind of like weird moves. Like for instance, the Black Adam push is just 3 months, and they're not going to
Yeah.
do much to the movie in 3 months.
In
They're
3
not gonna
months.
they're not going to do reshoots for Black Adam. But it's a fairly big push for some of these others. Aquaman moving from December to March. Again, that's essentially 3 months. That's not too bad. But Flash going from November to June is a big push.
That's half a year.
Yeah, that's epic.
That's over epic. Half a year. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess hopefully it'll come out. It's kind of like the Doctor Strange thing, because we were all like, oh shit, Doctor Strange got pushed. But then we found out later half the cast got COVID. So, so who knows?
Which could be the case.
This is prefaced by this is COVID-induced.
Yeah, mostly COVID. So it could be like half the cast in this one got COVID. But it's also Flash is the one that we have probably seen the most of. Because we've seen we've seen teasers and footage and photos of people in Flash.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot out there.
Oh.
I don't know. We'll
Star
see.
Wars.
Star Wars.
So, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Teaser trailer dropped today.
Dropped today. Well, that's Disney had their annual earnings call, and they put out a lot of stuff. But the Obi-Wan Kenobi was the thing that obviously had the most impact. So basically, I guess all we know story-wise is that this is the prequel to the first Star Wars movie, right? It's Ben Kenobi keeping an eye on Luke Skywalker, but
trying not to get killed by the Empire.
Yeah, it continues some stuff from the prequels where the Empire is hunting down all the Jedis, right?
Yeah, it takes place probably about like halfway between Episode 3 and Episode 4. So it's still like technically before even Rogue One at this point. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely Obi-Wan's just trying to keep quiet and keep a watch on Luke.
And it's even before Solo as well. So
yeah, I'd probably be a little bit before Solo or around the same thereabouts. But you also get the idea, you also get from the Empire that they know there were Jedi that survived. So they are still hunting down Jedi. We only really know of Obi-Wan in this one, but theoretically there are probably going to be other Jedi that pop up. I doubt he's the only one they're tracking.
Samuel L. Jackson makes a guest appearance.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, they're going to do it. So I already know Zach has been complaining in text messages about this being on Tatooine again.
Motherfucking Tatooine again!
The thing is,
this one makes more sense.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the one that actually belongs on Tatooine. The others don't necessarily have to be. But
we have been to Tatooine in Episode 1, Episode 2, Episode 3, 4, 6, Mandalorian, Episode 9,
and Boba Fett.
Fake-ass Tatooine in Force Awakens, Book of Boba Fett. This is a galaxy of planets. Thousands of planets. And we just can't fucking leave this planet.
I get it.
I get it.
I get it for all the other ones. I get it for complaining. It's just this one is a story that kind of has to be on Tatooine. But you're right. You are right on the over reliance of Tatooine. I get it. I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like them going to Tatooine in Boba Fett or in Boba Fett. I can kind of see because again that also kind of
at least the beginning.
Mandalorian,
the beginning, it kind of picks up where he was,
and not trying to be the crime boss of Tatooine. Mandalorian never had to go to Tatooine.
Yes, they did. Season 2.
He didn't have to.
Oh well.
Yeah.
That's what anyway. Because
they went to it, but they didn't have. Yeah, exactly. I agree with Jakku being a lame ass. It's not Tatooine, but
it kind of is.
Everything. It's just fucking.
It has one less sun than Tatooine.
No, I agree. I agree. But I'm cautiously optimistic because I think Ewan McGregor's performance as Obi-Wan is one of the bright spots of the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him back as.
Yeah,
I literally, I agree.
Jedi Jesus.
Yep, I agree with you. I literally feel like this entire series sits on the shoulders of Ewan McGregor because I'm mildly interested because he's back. That said, it should be enough that he's back. That should be enough. But if you look at this trailer, just in the 2 minutes of this trailer, we get, like you were talking about, we get the Duel of the Fates music for some random reason that doesn't fucking make sense.
It doesn't.
And then we get the Darth Vader breathing at the end. It's like this is like they can't do anything Star Wars that's not a nostalgia bomb.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Like,
how about
even
a
down
bunch
to
of
their fucking trailers?
we could really use some new blood, some new characters, new visuals. I don't know. I'm
It looks
only
like we get a new Sith lady, but that's about it.
and that could be cool. That could be cool.
Yeah.
It's. I feel though. I think I'm not as bad as Zach on this. I do feel somehow cautiously optimistic, only because Ewan McGregor hopefully requires a little more attention in the writing than the previous ones. We'll see.
It's also not. I don't. They could build seasons. This could be a regular show, but I doubt it because we know how it has to end. So I just assume
this was a limited series.
Well, that's the point he's making.
Yeah.
That it could be a regular series, but it probably is not.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, it's the fact that this is going to be essentially a self-contained, like a broken up movie. It is a limited series. Hopefully, that's a positive going into it. Is the fact that I'm not expecting there's season 2, season 3, season 4. That doesn't mean that won't happen because if there's money to be made,
it's Disney. They'll grab it.
Yeah, it's Disney. I'm not. And I'm not going to go into this too much because I start to feel like a fucking broken record when it comes to these shows. But this one still, again, looks like they went into that round projector room and just projected backgrounds on a wall and walked in front of them. You know, they just don't go anywhere.
The Batman did that, and I noticed it.
Yeah.
It was that set where they're like on this building that is, I guess, going through construction. Absolutely a set with that technology.
Yeah, but you know what? When you set everything during the day in sand, even my blind ass can see the seams.
Well, yeah.
You know, if you did it at night, you know, on wood and metal flooring and stuff, you could hide it better. But like I saw it and I'm like, yeah, they're using the same old room and the same. It's like they're just repurposing stuff from the other series, and that bothers me.
At this point, I fully believe that George Lucas has a room on, or like building
on Tatooine,
on on the farm, Skywalker Ranch, and they just filmed there.
That's
right. Just like Bruce Willis has a green screen in his basement for all the cameos he does. Send me the script, boys. I'll just go shoot it and send you my green screen.
I think.
Go ahead.
I was gonna transition out of this. So if you had more, everyone, go ahead.
No, just that. I'm kind of I'm probably slightly more negative than you guys, but I am cautiously optimistic right along with you. I hope it's
I'll
good.
watch
And
it if I hear good things. Otherwise, nah.
I will watch. I will totally watch it. It's not a question. I had one bit of TV stuff that is stuff that we theorized before we had our couple-week break that broke while we were gone.
Oh shit! What's this?
Well, it's not like a big reveal. It was like a couple weeks ago. But the fact that Disney Plus is getting all of the Marvel Netflix shows.
Yeah.
Like they officially
That's
announced
shocking.
It. Yeah, and they are also going to be releasing parental controls.
Yeah, I was about to say, and they're releasing parental controls. What a crazy random happenstance.
I was about to say, it's like they held it as long as they could, and then they're like,
well, okay. You know, with that, I'm glad they're getting parental controls. Maybe we'll start seeing more Fox movies that we haven't seen in a while.
Outside of the United States, it's like this normally. You go to Disney Plus, you can see fucking Die Hard and shit. Mm-hmm.
So there's weird stuff happening, though, that's fascinating to me. Like, on Hulu itself, a lot of the shows are leaving there.
Yeah.
A lot of shows from other networks are going away. Obviously, the NBC stuff is all getting pulled now and going to Peacock. And I'm reading a lot of stuff where there's a possibility Disney may be about to buy out the rest of Hulu. And if they do that, they'll probably just shut it down. That's what I think. Because if they're putting
that means one less subscription I have to pay for, or Nico
only if they give us a good access to things like Handmaid's Tale. Because can you imagine Handmaid's Tale on Disney Plus
or Devs
on Disney? Yeah. So I don't know. It's fascinating though when you look. Disney Plus announces. I feel like they had to rush to these parental controls to be able to get things like Daredevil right away because people are going to want that stuff.
And that's what I was saying is it's like in its current state, you will never fucking see Daredevil on Disney Plus.
Well, see, now you're adding caveats. Now you got to eat your hat, girl, because it's going to be there, uncut.
Yeah, my point was, unless they had a systemic change
Well, they're
not. Yeah, they're doing it. I'm saying, in its current state, they had Daredevil. I'm like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering.
I kind of want to be the spiteful bitch to be like, "Hey, Steven, let's go back in the audio and see if he actually added those caveats to."
Right.
Hold on, it was in chats. Let me add.
It actually was in chats. I wonder if I can go through my text messages and see.
Let me fucking search. We go into pussy pics here.
But anyway, that was the main addition, and it ties well with Obi-Wan being the Disney Plus show. That Disney Plus is definitely branching out in terms of the content that they have. I mean, it's still Marvel shows in this case, but it is shows that are definitely a higher rating for maturity that they've typically allowed. So it definitely makes me wonder if they're going this route on acquiring, or I guess taking back over these kind of content, what kind of breadth of Marvel shows can we expect going forward? I'm not expecting them to start back up those shows. Maybe Daredevil, but or we'll see how Moon Knight is, because Moon Knight drops later this month.
That's what I was wondering too. Is they've been talking? You know, the word from Kevin Feige is Moon Knight is brutal. Now, I don't always I feel like the hype machine is real, and I don't necessarily always believe it, but it would be cool if Moon Knight was in the same space as Daredevil. That would be cool. Yeah. I'd dig it. And not everything has to be. I think that the Hawkeye series was at the right space for that particular kind of show, and I liked it. I think, to me, it's the best Marvel show that's on Disney Plus. But I would love to see Moon Knight actually
for the next few days.
Yeah.
So I have been told that Moon Knight is a TV-14 rating and not a TVMA.
That's unfortunate.
What are you doing?
Sorry.
We'll see.
Oh, wait. Here's my statement. $1 says they will be censored.
All right. So you're looking at that.
That's all I got.
Yep.
Shit.
Exactly. That's all you said. So now give me the dollar.
And then the Ukraine got invaded.
All right. So this week on Blu-ray, if you want to pick something up, there's some stuff. The Matrix Resurrections is out if you want to waste some money. It's on Blu-ray 4K and in a steelbook.
Yellowstone 4K is good though.
Yeah, it's a bad movie though. Yellowstone season 4 is out. Redeeming Love is out. That looks awful. Coming to America is out. It looks awful. Supergirl season 6 and the final season that's out. The Walking Dead World Beyond season 2, also a final season that's out. Phenomena, the 4K limited edition is out, and let me tell you something, it's beautiful. I got it right back there on the shelf. And then A Touch of Evil from Criterion is out on 4K, and Thriller: A Cruel Picture is out in Blu-ray right now. My advice is to wait till the summer and get the 4K. What do we got for the feature funny book?
All right, this week's comic of the week is Marvel's Captain Carter. So we were just talking up a bunch of Disney Plus Marvel shows. Well, now is where the comics start taking inspiration from the TV shows. The What If show that aired last year, the animated Marvel show on Disney Plus, their first episode was What If Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum and became Captain Carter instead of Steve Rogers and Captain America. That is spinning off into a 5-issue miniseries from Marvel starting this week, written by Jamie McKelvey, who is typically known more for his artwork. Jamie McKelvey is a prolific artist and has done a lot of costume design work for Marvel.
Stop, Tina.
I'm sorry.
He actually designed the modern Captain Marvel outfit as seen in the 2018 movie, and also like the Miss Marvel one, and wrote co-created the McKelvey who's the Gillen new Young Avengers run, and a lot of other stuff. So yeah, if you really liked that incarnation of Captain Carter from Marvel's What If, go check out this 5-issue miniseries starting this week.
Whoop, whoop.
This just makes me wish the Peggy Carter TV series is back, because I enjoyed that. And I love Haley Atwell. They need to do something with her. Bring her
I liked her
character
Peggy
back
Carter,
somehow.
but she turned out to be very spiteful towards other female actors in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Peggy Carter
just-
or Haley Atwell?
Haley Atwell.
I didn't see any.
Oh,
of
yeah?
Like she fucking tore into who plays Sharon Carter?
Oh, Elizabeth.
Oh, the
Banks.
blonde girl?
Yeah,
Or
Emily Van
Emily
Camp.
Van Camp.
She like fucking tore into her and with no fucking reason. Yeah, it was weird.
No,
I don't know.
I never saw that.
I didn't either. Don't ruin my image of Captain Carter.
No,
Damn it.
Peggy is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not so much. Just like I fucking hate Sharon Carter, but I love Emily Van Camp. Everything I've read from her, she's a sweetheart, and I loved her
Fair
in
enough.
Revenge. So
All right.
nobody ever joined me in watching Revenge.
Nope.
No.
Fuck y'all.
I love how your husband is like, nope. I'll read it for
I mean, it's one of those ABC super drama series that my mom and I watched back when I still lived with her. So.
All right. Let's bring this thing to an end because you keep yawning at me. I'm going to fall asleep in my chair.
I go off camera to yawn.
I can still hear it, asshole.
Yeah, you did it. That's a great way to end the podcast. Bye, everybody.
High energy, guys.
Hi. It reminds me when we all ate drank the drink stuff that had the what was it that remember that purple drink that had the depressant in it and we all drank it.
Oh yeah.
And Mike actually fell asleep for a second on the show. All right, Nico, where do we find you on the internet, sir?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Letterboxd under Nico Scream, NIKOSCREAM.
Tina?
You can find me on most major social media sites under Cheddar Popper, CHEDRPOPPR, and as always, the beautiful Shadow Pup at the.shadow.pupper on Instagram.
Zach and Boy?
You can find me on.
I love how you had to breathe in to get ready.
Yeah. Discord as well as Steam as a dangerous mute lunatic, and you can also find me on Letterboxd as Master Z91, aka Zach Martin. I watched Come and See this week.
All right.
I can't unsee it.
All right. So find me on Letterboxd under CultureSmash. I don't post as often because I'm only posting on there stuff I see in the theater. But it's kind of helping me sort that list. So
yeah, I only post stuff I see in the theater unless it's a special occasion stuff.
But I am not just posting, I'm generally writing reviews. If you want to see
I don't do any of that shit.
If you want to see me rip into 2 months worth of movie bullshit, go there because I got not only Fuck You It's January, I got Fuck You It's February too.
Fuck you, it's still March.
Well, at least we got one pretty good movie. We got the Batman. Got that?
Yeah, what do you have to look forward to next,
Oh,
asshole?
man. Studio 666. Yeah, I got some bad stuff coming the rest of this month, boy.
Hey, you can see Strawberry Mansion tomorrow night.
Oh, God, I ain't doing it.
I actually kind of want to go.
All right. So there, and then hit me up on YouTube under Off the Shelf Movie Night, and also on TikTok under OTS Movies. So we'll see everybody next week.
Bye,
everybody.